I'm not going to stop you talking. I'm going to make you talk about Hereditary, which is the next film we must discuss.
Oh, Christ, no. Can I just talk about Mila Kunis fumblingly instead?
It's probably more scary, so...
So, then, another entry into the Drew Tries Horror Again series. But before I go further, I'd like to ask a question. It will, no doubt, sound like I'm being facetious. And, to be honest, I probably am, if only a little. But, are horror films meant to be scary? Serious question, though. I know that being straight up frightening isn't the be-all and end-all of a horror film. Atmosphere and tension can play a large part too. But, aren't they supposed to be, horrifying? I ask because I wonder if somewhere along the line I fundamentally misunderstood them, given how few have made me even a little scared. So few, I suspect, that even those that have in some way unsettled me can be dismissed as a statistical anomaly. So maybe the problem is me expecting them to be frightening. This I doubt, however, given that some video games and plenty of books over the years have been able to exert exactly that response in me. And a misunderstanding of purpose certainly doesn't excuse the typically piss-poor acting, writing and direction most of the genre seems to exhibit. I do still try, though, on occasion, hoping that I will find that elusive film that will light me right up. Which, while I suspect you can all guess where this is heading, brings me to Hereditary, the latest horror, and crikey, can I not put enough inverted commas around that word, horror film to pique my interest and persuade me to test its wares. Certainly, the trailer looked interesting, and the idea of the link between the happenings in the house and the detailed miniatures created by Toni Collette's character had the potential to be creepy. Sadly, the miniatures more or less have sod all to do with anything that happens in the film, and seem to have mostly been added to create stylish trailers and posters. I mean, okay, yes, you could argue that the framing of the shots matches those little dioramas, but the visuals, like everything else here, are empty and dull. The miniatures match Colette's character preoccupations, they say. Mind-blowing. There has been so much breathless hyperbole associated with Hereditary, with newspapers and other websites carrying ridiculous headlines like, and I am quoting verbatim, Hereditary, scientifically proven to be scariest movie of the year. People are calling this new movie the scariest horror film ever made, and it's leaving them terrified. And scariest horror film in years is so terrifying people are crying at cinema. These reports, like this film, are absolute grade A horror. Toni Collette plays Annie Graham, an artist from a family with an almost comically extensive history of mental illness, married to Gabriel Burns Steve, and mother to Peter and Charlie, who are definitely human? Is human a character trait? They have hair as well. They're human and have hair. The film begins with the funeral of Annie's mother, an apparently unpleasant woman whose influence persists in Annie's life after her death, and seems to be her affecting her family, particularly her daughter Charlie, Millie Shapiro, a creepy idiot child who chops the head off of dead birds with scissors and has to be constantly reminded not to eat nuts despite having a potentially fatal nut allergy. Her son Peter, Alex Wolff, seems less affected at first, at least until further tragedy strikes, but maybe that's because his entire character motivation seems to be cannabis. As things get worse for Annie, she starts visiting a bereavement support group, where she meets Joan, Anne Dowd, an on the surface friendly woman who begins to exert her own influence over the family. Mysteries are uncovered because, of course, everything is not as it seems. Most notably that this seemed like an interesting, creepy film. Hereditary doesn't even have the good grace to be the sort of really bad horror film whose plot and story you can ridicule and enjoy tearing apart. If only it could rise to such a basic level of interest. But this is just astonishingly, almost maliciously dull. It lacks jump scares. Excellent. The positives end there. There is no atmosphere. There is no tension. There aren't even characters. nor, and I've accepted this due to the utter absence of anything else, are there stereotypes, archetypes, nor even ciphers. There are just some people who are there. The acting is something that happens in other films. Saving for Gabriel Byrne, who doesn't appear to have given this even minimal effort and wishes he was in one of those other films. The acting is terrible, especially a spectacularly awful turn from the normally dependable Toni Collette. Now, I'm aware, as I say this, that I am in fact turning this into the sort of terrible horror film whose plot and story you can tear apart, and honestly, it's too dull to deserve it. So stop now. I will just add, though, that this film has made me wonder if I'm a psychopath, because two related scenes that are supposed to be utterly horrifying, made me laugh. Like, a lot. Like, tears in my eyes laughing. Also, in this film's world, corpses don't smell. Screw this film.
Yes, what a torrent of pish.
Right, so...
It's at least one every year they say, oh no, but no, this is actually a good horror film. No, go and watch Mama, everyone. This is an intelligent horror film for clever people to enjoy. And this
Mama,
one,
yes.
And invariably, I'll go and see it. Invariably, torrent of pish. This is no exception. Yeah, just I didn't hate the acting so much in like the first half. I thought it was that kind of first half where it seems like it might be trying to do something that's more psychological in nature, and it could be building towards some sort of vaguely comprehensible breakdown or something happening along those lines. It was glacially paced, and it was bored senseless, but I could at least add some sort of rough idea of where it might be going. And then the whole second half of this film is apparently me supposed to be scared of a fat man in the woods, and the rest of it is just absolute garbage. Absolute garbage.
Absolute garbage issue. I kind of just wish it'd be worse, because I think I just enjoyed hating it. It was like, I was just so bored by it.
Yes, 2 hours. I think it's more. Is it
2
more?
2 hours, 7 minutes.
And like just almost nothing happens. Like there's the one sort of shocking death in the first half. In that first half, somewhere like maybe 2/3 through that, which I guess worked. But then it did nothing else with it, and the rest of it was just hot garbage.
Yeah, you say that this shocking death worked. You know how I said one scene made me laugh till I had tears in my eyes?
To be honest, I found it quite amusing too, so you're not alone in that one. But
that's good, because I was so bored, and then that happened because it was so ridiculous and so stupid, the build up to it, and I was pissing myself laughing at that scene. I really, really was. So I'm glad it's not me. And then it's when that very scene is referenced in a miniature later, I was like, I'm also laughing a great deal here. So if I am a psychopath, at least I have company.
Yes, I don't know if that's different if you're in the communal atmosphere of watching it in a cinema screen, but when I was watching it with my wife and my mother-in-law, I was like, no, we were all pretty much amused by that. It was shocking, but shocking in a sort of ha-ha kind of way, rather than shocking in the sort of way that I think it was intended to be. You know, there's films that could like prey upon parents' worst fears of children going missing and things like that, or your children dying, and I can understand why that would have a very real emotional impact on people, but not the way this is presented, where basically it's a Wile E. Coyote cartoon.
And when Toni Collette turns into this wide-eyed crazy person at the end of the acting, I like Toni Collette a lot, and I've never seen any hint that she could act this badly. I mean, she has to work to act this badly, surely. There's a scene right near the end where she's doing something to herself with, I don't know, like a cheese wire or something, and just this stupid wide-eyed look in her face, and it's absolutely risible. I mean, if people just like had found it scary and things, I mean, okay, and maybe it didn't work for me. But as I said, the absolute breathless hyperbole about this, the scariest film of the year, the scariest horror film, everyone's like, there's not one thing that's even vaguely frightening about this film. Not even a little bit.
It's like, it seems like it's almost objectively boring. It just seems like I don't understand how you can defend it. I just don't get it. This is not the film for me, right? Yeah. If you like it, more power to you. But yes, dumpster fire.
When you get the revelation of what they're doing at the end, it's like, if this had been a sort of bog standard terrible horror film, that probably I would just have snorted with derisive laughter at what that was. But it got to the end, it's like, yeah, that more or less figures. That's dumb. I don't care.
That's dumb, but it was just, at least it's a thing that happened in a film where very few things happen. So, it's got that going for it, at least.
This is a film that so little was happening that I was hung up for a long time on the doormat. Because there's a doormat that has some significance in this, right? And it's supposed to be, it's helping one character uncover some secrets, and it's meant to be kind of creepy and stuff. And I'm like, who on earth sews a doormat with that material?
Yeah.
That would be destroyed after you'd wiped your foot in it 3 times. And you can't say it's meant to be decorative. It's a doormat. People would wipe their feet in it because it's a doormat. They'd expect to use it for that, but it would fall apart. Why would you have that as a door? And honestly, that was occupied my mind for so much of this runtime of the film because sod all else was happening.
Yeah.
That's how bad and empty this film is. This doormat makes no sense. And yeah, then as I mentioned that corpse thing too, so there's a corpse at some point. I don't think that's giving it away because I should prefer people didn't watch it and save themselves. And I'm thinking, right, okay, maybe this isn't one for the character who discovers his corpse's head. That's kind of cliched, but okay, I'll go with that. And then no, it's not an imaginary thing. It's there, but apparently you can't smell a corpse. I had a dead mouse in my house once. I could still a mouse. You know how big mice are. I could still smell it weeks later, even after I disposed of it. This is a whole human body. Well, no smell. Okay. Again, and when nothing else is happening, you begin to focus on that because your mind has to have something to do while waiting for anything at all to happen, which it failed to do. So there we go.
Yes, Hereditary. No, thank you. Just
also see films that rely on some inexplicably stupid decision by a character to get their plot going. I hate them, and this is one of them. Here is a character with an allergy and doesn't have the thing to treat the allergy that anybody else in the world with allergy would have with them at all times without ever even having to think about it. But no. No. Now I'm giving this film more emotion than it deserves, so I'll stop myself right there.